the Strike Movement Transit Mid Street Trainer. So I wanted to put this video together, talk about some first impressions, some pros, cons, some sizing thoughts on the shoe. That way you can get a full rundown of them before my full review comes out in the event that you want to buy them soon, because I feel like the stock of the shoe is probably going to go fast once they really hit critical mass on the market. So all that to say, this model is the continuation from the StreetTrainer, which is basically Strike Movement's hybrid shoe for skating, training, and some daily wear. And personally, I am a sucker for mid-top and high-top shoes, so this model hits all the boxes for me, and I like to skate casually on the side outside of the gym, so this shoe is honestly like peak in my alignment. Now, my first impression with this shoe, and this might be a hot take, and I really want to hear your feedback down below if you wear Strike Movement shoes now, is that I actually am starting to like the StreetTrainers better than the Haze Trainers. The Haze Trainer has been one of my GOAT training shoes over the last few years. But hear me out, and I put this out there on my Instagram for that fit friend, and a lot of folks said the same thing. I feel like the newer Haze Trainers fit a little bit more snug. This shoe has a better fit, in my opinion, compared to the new Haze Trainers, and I'm not sure if something changed with the upper, but it seems like the midfoot is just wicked snug in the new Haze Trainer, which that wasn't always the case. Typically, once it broke in, it would loosen up and feel a little bit more loose and casual, but that hasn't been the case, and so I honestly have been wearing this shoe more than the Haze Trainer, which is crazy because that shoe has been so goated for me, and I want to know if you have bought Haze Trainers in the last few months. Do you think they are fitting snugger than prior models if you've ever worn multiple Haze Trainers? If you're brand new to the model, I would love to hear your opinion, but I do want somebody who has a bit more contrast with older models versus newer models. My first impression with this shoe is I really enjoy its comfort. So with this model, you have the Spectrafoam midsole, and it gives it a little bit higher of a stack height compared to the Haze Trainer, but when it comes to just casual wear and all day wear, and if you're standing on your feet all day, I honestly really vibe with this midsole. It's a little bit more plush and responsive in my opinion too than the Haze Trainer, which can be a turnoff in certain contexts, like if you're training very heavy. But for most general training sessions, and just from a responsive standpoint and from a skating standpoint, I do really enjoy this midsole, and I think it is very comfortable. So if you like a softer ride that feels more casual, I think you will resonate with the shoe's midsole in that context. My first impression with this shoe is I really like the fit, in the sense that I can wear this loose like this, like I do generally for daily wear, but then I can also tighten it up and it doesn't feel overbearing, which is something that can come along with certain high top shoes for training. For example, the Noble high top. When you crank that tight up top, it feels kind of awkward and almost limiting. This shoe doesn't necessarily have that case, which I personally like. And I like, again, that I can just tuck these laces in, wear it loose, slide my foot in, and because we have a nice tongue gusset here that keeps that tongue in place, it doesn't slide around a lot. So that's one of those little quality of life things with the shoe that I can tell Strike Movement spent some time thinking about. And do note, like, I bought this shoe. I'm not being endorsed for this video, even though I am a big fanboy of this shoe. I am not getting paid for it. I didn't get affiliate kickbacks for this shoe. I just really enjoy the construction of this model. My first impression with this shoe is I really enjoy the grip. So you have that variable outsole here, and with this grip, I don't think you're gonna have issues at all on different surfaces. Even with heavier sled pushes and when training a little bit more explosively on wooden platforms, this model hasn't had any issues, and the outsole has held up pretty well. So I also like this shoe from a daily wear context for that, because it should protect the midsole a little bit longer, and if you're wearing this out and about casually and you're stepping in, for example, a puddle here and there or some dirt, this outsole and with this rubber wrap here should give you more protection with the shoe long term. My first impression with this shoe is it has a medium to slightly wider foot width. So you do have this anatomical toe box, Strike Movement's language, not mine, and it feels pretty good. So I have an E to double E width foot, and even if I wear thicker socks, the shoe does feel pretty good on my foot, so I don't think there's gonna be necessarily any massive sizing issues. Now, if you obviously have a 3 or 4 E width foot, you might be an exception there, but I think for most foot anatomies, this shoe should give you enough width, and the midfoot doesn't feel as aggressive as, again, the Haze Trainer, which I personally really like. And because it is a high top model, I also appreciate that, because now you're not having that awkward spillover, which the latest Nano X Unknown model had. So I do appreciate that with this shoe, in the sense that the midfoot's not so aggressive and the upper doesn't spill over. Now, a couple of pros and cons with this shoe. Pro number one, this model does a really good job at kind of ticking all of the boxes in the sense of training, skating, and daily wear. If you want that shoe for travel and whatnot, this can be a great option to go with. I have worn these out to the bar, for example, and more casually with jeans, and they look pretty damn good too. at that. The second pro that I have with the shoe is, again, if you like high top shoes and you like shoes that can be worn looser or tighter without the tongue moving and stay relatively secure on the foot, that is a big pro of this shoe. And then my third pro that I have with the shoe is just the overall aesthetic. Like the boot back here reminds me of the Chill Pill Mid. Honestly, I feel like there are some construction elements or design elements that are similar to that shoe with this model. But then up here through the midfoot and the forefoot, I do really enjoy, Strike, that you kept the branding relatively minimal just here on the lateral heel and then up here on the tongue. It just gives this shoe a much more clean look in my opinion. Quick note, guys, I do have that Fit Friends socks now available. They are going to be linked down below. I'm making more colorways. This is the OG colorway. I only have a few left of it, and I can't promise I'm going to bring this exact sock back because it has sold so fast that I want to do more releases with different colors. So consider buying a pair. It supports the channel. I really appreciate you. A lot of folks have given me feedback on them. They've said that they've been very comfortable, and the socks are designed to be used for training and daily wear, so you get a nice cross functionality out of them. Now, a couple of cons that come with the shoe. Con number one, it does run pretty hot. This model is not going to be your best bet for breathability. It is a slightly thicker shoe back here, so again, if you need max ventilation, you're probably not going to want to look at mid-top or high-top shoes in general, but the shoe's not going to necessarily deliver there. It doesn't feel as heavy as a Vans. It is very lightweight and it has a lot of flex, but the breathability of the upper is just not going to be necessarily as breathable as other training shoes that are a lot more ventilated. Not a bad thing, but definitely something to keep in mind if you train in hotter settings. The second con that I have with this shoe is, even though it does have a pretty good fit, I think, for most foot anatomies, if you have an exceptionally wide foot, you may want to steer clear of the shoe or buy them, and keep in mind that you may have to return them, so you're going to want to keep them in really good condition. So definitely consider that if you have a 3E plus foot width. The third con that I have with the shoe, and this is just kind of one of those little quality of life things, is the laces can be a little bit tough to adjust at times. So with this tongue pocket here, I like it. I like this feature a lot, and I do appreciate the overall upper, but when you are adjusting these laces, it can be a little bit annoying at times because they all kind of get bunched up and then this tongue kind of spills over on it, and so you have to kind of finesse it. Not the biggest deal again, but just a tiny little nitpick that maybe other folks will notice, so maybe I'm not feeling so crazy in saying that on video to publish to the world on YouTube. Now, when it comes to sizing and fit in this shoe, if you don't feel like waiting for my full review, I think true to size should be the safe call in this model. So if you wear Nike, Adidas, Reebok, other Strike movements, Rads, go with the same size that you went in this shoe. I think they fit pretty dang true. I don't think you'll have to size up. If you have an exceptionally wide foot and you really want to try these, maybe sizing up a half size will give you extra room, but I think for most narrow, medium, and slightly wider foot widths, true to size will be on the money for your needs. But all that to say, I'm gonna wrap this one up, you guys. If you have questions on this model in the meantime, before my full review rolls out, drop a comment down below or reach out to me personally on Instagram, whichever you prefer. And as always, y'all, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next one.